What the heck is this? Why are there so many clothes? Why are there so many? And I know this guy's pretty popular actually, so maybe we'll draw that one. Alright, official website. How come there's no concept art? Wow, these are actually kind of pretty though. And going through. Ooh! Rosaria! Don't you look fancy? Guess we gotta go get your clothes. Alright, at least I can find back views of everything. These things are complicated. My goodness. Alright, wow, another website. Okay. Why can't this one have any website? This is the official art. That's pretty. Does the 3D have anything? Ooh, yeah, it does. Okay. We're getting somewhere, slowly but surely. Who's this guy? He looks cute. Yeah. Alright, I'd do that one. Ooh, she's nice. Adorable. Zinyan? I can't read, but let's get started. Welcome back, Scribblers. Today, even though I've never played the game, and I don't have a particular interest in it, I'm going to attempt to draw characters from Genshin Impact. As a unique challenge, I won't be using the undo button while I draw. That's right, no second chances, no revisits. Each stroke I make on the canvas is going to be final. This might result in some, let's say, interesting interpretations of the character, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the chaos that is sure to ensue as I attempt to draw Genshin Impact characters without my true love, the undo button. And of course later on the erase tool, because we love a good challenge, don't we? So my caffeinated ass did not hit the damn record button, so here we are with the spliced together bits that you get of our first character, which I already forgot the name of. I'll have to look that up. I probably cheated a little bit when I said that I didn't use the undo button, even though it was not an available option. That didn't mean I couldn't use multiple layers, right? With the lasso tool, what I generally did was go about the areas that I needed and then filled in the base color, adding a highlight on top with a soft airbrush and then adding a shadow with a soft airbrush. So basically from the top where my light source is, I added a soft highlight, and then from the base where most of the shadow would be covering the face, I added a darker tone. I did this for most of the parts, including the veil, even using the eraser tool to cover up anything that I thought was a mistake. This character had a lot of minor details, so what I did was really break it up into different parts in order to make sure that the colors worked harmoniously besides just color swatching from my reference image. I wanted to make sure that they looked good together, hence why it's harmonious. But adding a slight gradient to your background actually will help you pull out any colors that you missed, especially for clothing that might be an off-white to a white. You won't necessarily see it against a white background, hence a white on white. After I got some of my base colors in, I started adding in smaller and smaller details. The veil and things like the necklace and the chain for the wrist, as well as minor belt buckles and things like that. Genshin Impact tends to have a lot of detail with their characters, and not having the undo button, and even with the eraser tool, was a bit of a challenge, I admit, hence why we did it without an undo button. Later on though, you'll see that I actually took away the eraser tool. When using the lasso tool, especially for Clip Studio Paint, I used the magnetized one so that way I could tap in different directions. That way I wouldn't lose whatever it is that I lassoed. Sometimes the base lasso tool will actually automatically close if you lift your pen off of the tablet. Me, being a very zoomed in artist, which a lot of artists tell you not to do, I actually will lift up the brush because I'm so zoomed in because I need to start zooming out. For the stockings, actually, that was really easy to do. I just found a simple mesh brush in the Clip Studio Paint Assets store, and I did say asset, okay? With a T, there's a T there. And what I did was I downloaded this brush, put it into Clip Studio Paint, and then used the liquify tool to wrap it around the leg. Next, I added a multiply layer, so that way I could add in darker shadows as well as values starting from the shoes going up to the head. So the light source was going to be very focused on the face as well as the hair, so then that's going to be the brightest part of my drawing, and the legs and torso are actually going to recede into the background, so they're going to be darker. And then once I have my general gradation going from light to dark, I add in a fewer minute shadows. This is where I start to add contrast to really make it pop. After that, I was going to just leave the background black and white, but realized I really didn't like it and it didn't seem to match the Genshin Impact theme overall. So I just sucked it up and actually did a background, and I did cheat a little bit. All I did was use a gradation within the background, which you really shouldn't do. It depends. It depends on how skilled of an artist you are. But then I also used a textured brush to kind of separate it using that gradation into a background there. Make up the ground that the character is standing on. Command Z just undoes the last stroke that you made and also any previous strokes beforehand. So, in order to make this a little more challenging for myself, in the second drawing, I thought, well, why don't we not use the eraser tool? Because we're just a glutton for punishment, aren't we? But, that being said, the second drawing, using whatever this guy's name is, Brisley. His name is Brisley. Oh my god, get it right. You're such a nerd. I didn't like the way it came out and kind of gave up halfway through. I tried to use the liquify tool to move things around. I thought maybe if I did a paint over, that could excuse the not having the undo or the eraser tool. I find the eraser tool is really important, but also since we're doing a painting, when you're painting in real life, you do not have an eraser, so you're just using the common colors that are around it. Did this work out for me digitally? No. The characters have intense costumes with very small details, and it's taking way longer than I predicted it to be, which is great, just wonderful. When I looked into Genshin Impact, I know it's like an RPG game. I've asked other people about it. They like the open world concept and the exploration. Personally, I always known it as like one of those gacha games, and I'm a little biased because Path to Nowhere is my absolute favorite gacha game. That is the only thing that I will specifically spend hours upon. But Genshin Impact, as cool as the character designs are in some of these characters, I don't know, it doesn't call to me. I might have to play it in order to give you my final review. But drawing these characters actually showed me that their designs were pretty grabbing. I can see why people would really enjoy playing as these characters or even just collecting them. With this painterly style, I kind of just took it in chunks, so I color picked from the actual character concept art and then would use the lasso tool and kind of fill in those spots of color. So what I would basically do is take darker colors and layer my shadows and highlights so that way it would kind of just build up into the character that I wanted. Honestly, after a while I started to scrap this because this method, or at least this style, was not working out for me. I am very much used to my line art style because I chose such a dynamic pose that included foreshortening and action and more intensity instead of just a regular standalone character that eventually I quit. I didn't even finish this drawing. I might have the quote-unquote final product somewhere. I'll see if I can put it up on the screen. All the little details and chains and small buttons and doodads, I might have to do a material study to really get those shines looking decent, or at least halfway decent. I don't know. This wasn't working for me and I needed to go to the next. I needed to at least go to the next person. Let's move on to the third one, which I will put the name in the edits over here. The video looks a little bit different. It's probably because I switched over to my iPad. I'm currently using Procreate instead of Clip Studio Paint. Clip Studio Paint did come out with a recent iOS app. I am just broke and didn't want to pay for it, and Procreate I had since it was like, I don't know, what, $4? With Xinyan, I honestly really liked the punk rock character that she is here. The fiery details would be super cool to do, and I honestly used the undo button so many times on this one.
What?
I am so sorry, I lied. I lied. But honestly, I wanted to turn this into a print for future conventions and things like that. So yes, I used the undo button, okay? I gave up. Usually I'm stubborn and won't give up, but this time, yes, I gave up. I'm sorry. There was just too many details. It had to be done. Honestly, this one was pretty quick. I worked on it for a couple of days. Time-lapse always makes it seem to go faster than it actually is. What I learned from this was undo button is just there to make it more streamlined and for things to go faster. Well, Scribblers, I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it took a while to make, but I appreciate all your patience and just sticking around. So thank you, and see you next time.